Hi, I'm Kirk Dando. I got into a conversation with a very successful venture capitalist from Silicon Valley the other day. We got into this reflective conversation, and he asked me, he said, Kirk, why do you do what you do? Well, I really appreciate those discussions that cause us to kind of turn inward and reflect on and think deeper about why is it we do what we do. So I really appreciated this question. And I took a moment and I thought about it. And what I shared with him was the reason that I have dedicated my life, not just my adult life, but my life, to really helping understand leadership and growth, and then being able to hopefully teach some of those lessons is because from an early age, I had this expectation, I had a dependency upon the people that were in my life that I thought were the influencers, the people that I depended upon to help unlock my potential, to see the best in me, to help show me the road that they have already been down, to come back alongside of me and help guide me, to help make the journey, to normalize the journey when it got difficult, to help me see around corners that I had not been around before. And from a young age, those were teachers, those were coaches, those were my parents, those were other people of influence that I depended upon and almost just instantly thought that's what they were there to do, was to help me. Well, I was disappointed, as you might imagine. I was disappointed more times than I wasn't. I remember one time in fourth grade, sitting in the classroom. I remember where I was sitting in the row. I can remember my little desk that I was sitting in. The teacher's desk was right off to the right. And something had happened. I don't even remember exactly what it was that happened. But this teacher became red faced. I mean, it just came from his toes to the top of his head. And he started to light me up. Like I said, I don't even remember what I did, but I do remember what he said. In the course of what he said, these are the words I remember. He said, Kirk, go home and tell your parents that you're dumb. Can you do that, Kirk? Now you may be thinking, that's unbelievable. Who in their right mind would do that? Well, a lot of people times don't say the words, but they behave that way. But I remember that arrow of death. I can almost see the words leaving his mouth and landing in my heart. And because I didn't have a whole lot of other influences in my life that allowed me to have a shield to protect that and deflect that, it got in. And that leader that I depended upon really sent me on a journey of doubt, of was I smart enough? For years after that, I was in the lowest math, I was in the lowest this, lowest that. And I really had a lot of doubt for a number of years. Well, as I continued to grow and I started to really want to understand, because you want to know what the other thing? I had people, I had coaches, and I had people that believed in me. They saw something in me that I didn't see. I had a mom who deeply cared about making sure that I understood who I was and the gifts that I'd been given. And those few influences, the small percentage of influences gave me hope. Gave me hope and unlocked my full potential. And because I held on that, I started studying. I want to understand what the difference is between these people who are willing to stand in front of a classroom of 8 and 9 years old and yell at a young kid and tell him to go home and tell his parents that he's stupid, versus these other people who are willing to encourage and to put into me something that was not there. So I started studying it from an early age. Well, as I've grown over the years, I've been very fortunate to have friends and their parents who had very successful businesses, some that were leaders in businesses that weren't so successful. Once again, it just became a study of mine to really understand what are the dynamics of what is the difference between leaders who are effective and cause great influence and create great impact, job growth, revenue growth, impact their communities for the better, versus the leaders who just kind of are more worried about what they can get out. Well, there's a difference between why I do what I do and the reasons why I do what I do. Why I do what I do is because I firmly believe, and I've experienced it personally, and maybe you have, I'm guessing you have too, that nothing impacts the health, the wealth, and the happiness of others more than a leader. The health, the physical health, the mental health, the emotional health, the wealth, not just the wealth that money brings, but the wealth that friendships and relationships and the potential and seeing your full potential brings. And the happiness. Just think about, we eat better. We're more energized to work out. We're more energized to take care of ourselves when someone sees the best in us. So nothing impacts the health, wealth, and happiness of leaders. And I've committed my life to really helping understand the dynamics and the differences, and now sharing those out. I've spent the last 20 years of my life sharing that. And I also believe firmly that leaders, nothing grows without great leaders. No organization, no business, no not-for-profit, no church, no country, government, nothing has performed at a 9 or 10 with leadership that was a 5 or 6. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. So I'm committed to helping not just leaders grow, but help them grow something, once again, that causes impact in their communities, in their nation, around the world. Well, this all sounds, and I get it, can sound, very motivational, and no wonder I'm into this. That's kind of the why I do what I do. And it's kind of the reasons I am who I am. But it's not the excuse that lets me stay stuck in where I was in that 4th grade seat hearing those words. Here's the reasons, and there's 3 reasons I do what I do. Here they are. These are my 3 daughters, Lauren, McKenna, and Sloan. I want to make sure that these young girls understand that they're loved. I want to make sure that they understand the right character and discipline of a leader, of a father who cares and nurtures. I want them to understand the difference between right and wrong. I want them to be able to go out on a daily basis and have that armor of understanding and loving others, but not always taking everyone's opinions and understanding what it means to be a leader in their circles of influence. Well, one day I left for work and I came home and this happened. They started growing up. And if you have grown kids, you get it. It happens at the blink of an eye. And those moments, those precious moments in the morning of waking them up and taking and encouraging them for the day, those precious moments that happen at the end of the day, at mealtime or bedtime, where we're most vulnerable and our guard is down. Those rich opportunities come and go so quickly. What are we doing with those opportunities? Well, I had to go on a trip, and I came back from the trip, and this happened. They've grown up. They've grown up. Lauren, McKenna, and Sloan are young adults now. They're stepping into a chapter of their life that I'm so excited for. Lauren's going to be working for Ernst & Young. McKenna's going to have the opportunity to do a great internship for Deloitte. Sloan is a freshman in high school and is excelling. But my work is done. My work is not done as being a dad and loving them, encouraging them. But what I can put in, now it's your turn. The reasons I do what I do, the reasons I care about developing and maturing and sharing and being a peer and walking next to, sometimes behind, sometimes carrying other leaders, is because these 3 girls someday may be in your organization. And I want them to have the best opportunity to be under the best leadership that they possibly can be. So they can go out and they can have impact in your organization, that they can have impact in their communities and the communities around those communities. So why I do what I do? It was from a hurt from when I was little. The reasons I do this, 3 reasons. Lauren, McKenna, and Sloan. I really appreciate the question from my friend. And it really caused me to step back and reflect. Why do you do what you do? What causes you to get out of bed in the morning and hit the floor with passion and vigor and discipline? Thank you for this question. If you have a question for me about leadership, about growth in your organization, growth as an individual, growth ideas that I've practiced in my family to help them grow, whatever it may be, I encourage you to please leave a comment below, or you can send it to kirkdando.com and I'll answer it on one of these videos. I hope you have a blessed day. Thank you.